Nigerians are expected to seek out the best.
Two words to describe the activity.
The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa.
Presidential
we break the news.
Women in Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news spreads. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
Our
News.
24-hour news station.
Well, welcome back. If you just joined us, the program is called Digest, and this morning we'll be looking at the era of change, early happenings and expectations. I have with me in the studio this morning the Pro-Tem Chairman, the Igbo Conscience, and Chairman, UBANI Foundation. Also the former NBA Chairman, Ikeja Branch. All this to just one person. Join me to welcome Monday UBANI, legal practitioner. It's a pleasure having you in the studio this morning.
Thank you, ma. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Now we'll start with looking at the era of change, the early happenings and expectation. Let's start with what we have here on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Fresh crisis brews in APC over Senate post. Party National Working Committee deadlock, meeting in deadlock. Tinubu banners disappears from APC secretariats. Now, is this the change that Nigerians are expecting?
Well, this is what we call teething problem in anything that is new. And when they were coming together, some of us anticipated what is going on now, that these are people coming from different backgrounds, with different zeal, with different understanding and ideology. But for the sake of taking power, grabbing power at the national level and some of the states, they all came together. There was one common purpose. Now that they've gotten power, the issue now is how did they share power? How altruistic were they in the first place? Was it for national interest or for personal interest they grabbed this power and all that? So these things will begin to unfold. And at the end of the day, we begin to have a clearer understanding whether the power was taken in order to further their own personal interest, or whether the power was grabbed in order to actually further the interests of the nation. So it is at the sharing level of positions they are now, and we are seeing some of the level of bickerings. As I said earlier, it was not unexpected. When you have people that come from different background, even in marriage, a woman and a man from different background, they initially encounter problem in marriage. The first 3 years, you are married, a man is recently, you expect some level of misunderstanding, between 1 to 3, 4, 5. But from 6, you begin to understand yourself, clearly. And then you now begin to work towards building a very stable home. So what is happening now wasn't unexpected, but the zeal, the understanding, the wisdom within which to handle this expected crisis and then come out of it clean and better for the sake of the nation is what matters. And that's why we're advising that the stakeholders must bury their personal interest at this juncture and allow national interest to prevail. And allow, the responsibility that has been placed upon their shoulder, to be realized, because there are so much dreams, Nigerians have about this change, and they must also recognize their place in history, in Nigerian history. It has never happened before where opposition has taken power from the ruling party. It has never happened in our political history.
And that's why Nigerians are quite surprised with the recent development that is happening in the House. Now, the fresh crisis that is brewing in the House now is concerning the Senate's House leader, the Deputy Senate's House leader, the Chief Whip that will be appointed next week. Right. Now, there are party divides there. Some people are supporting some party. Don't you think this will be a resurgence of what happened when Yakubu Dogara and Saraki emerged as Speaker and the Senate President?
Yeah, because the APC actually played into the hands of the opposition that is in the House, and they're also waiting. The PDP will at every juncture want to cause problem for APC as a political party because they took power from them and they're totally disgruntled and they're not happy that power has been taken away from them. So whatever they can do to frustrate APC, they will go ahead and do it. But APC can only be advised to be wiser by ensuring that its consensus reached. But can they reach consensus because they came from different background and ideology, and they have different interests? And so, if care is not taken, what happened in the initial time of selecting of their leadership, will also happen because there is no consensus amongst them. And they now bring the matter to the House again. APC will begin to back those who are well unquote, dissidents and actualize their own position and not the position of APC. Now, APC has so much expectations on them. People are expecting so much. And so the earlier they all come together and reach a consensus without exposing themselves is very key. Because it's internal rat that tells the external rat that there is meat in the house. If you organize yourself well internally and become very cohesive, there is no way PDP will come and divide you. But if there is already a crack, if there is already a division in the house and you are coming to the house in order to select or elect the leadership, PDP will always back those that are against you.
Now, looking at
that is danger.
Yeah, looking at what has transpired even before during Tambuwa's regime, when the APC members supported him coming as the Speaker, House of Representatives, when Patricia Ete was removed as a Speaker. Now, don't you think what is happening now is a fallout of what APC did then when they brought in Tambuwal as the Speaker of House of Representatives?
Yeah, there is a saying that whatever a man sows, he reaps. Because hitherto there was no known such disobedience, by members of the House, especially in selecting the leadership. The political party has always been very supreme. Whoever they say should be the Speaker or whoever they say will be the Senate President eventually will emerge. That has always been the position until the era of Tambuwal. Contrary to the existence of the political party, that's the PDP, that this is the person they want to be the Speaker. They all went to the House, and then APC, ACN, I think, yeah. Was it ACN? No, APC. I think it was already, no, it wasn't I think it was ACN then.
It was ACN then before the...
That now joined with the dissidents of PDP then, and then allowed Tambuwal to emerge. And that became an eye-opener, that members of the House can go contrary to the directives, or instruction of the political party, in order to in choosing who becomes their leader in the House. I follow me, sir.
Yeah.
So that was an eye-opener, and every person was hailing them then, and what they did was, it makes them to be independent and then be able to do certain, look at the bills of the executive and then scrutinize it properly and then not be an appendage of the executive. So everyone held what took place then. And so if we held it and commended that effort, so what is going on now is that people now became wise and say, yes, we can also disobey our political party and do what we want. But the only area people do not, the area people do not like is the alliance that Saraki now entered with PDP. Saraki, out of his own volition, went and offered a position of deputy Senate presidency, to the PDP, contrary to the party's thinking and instruction.
And that's why from some quarters they are saying the APC, they are ruling, but the PDP are in power. Could you please just substantiate that?
Well, I don't know how. The point is that PDP has a sizable number of members in the House, both chambers. Both House of Reps. They are not in the majority, but you cannot call them underdogs. They have sizable number of members, and so whatever you are planning in the House, you must also take them into consideration. But then, in taking them into consideration, you must also understand that they are there to frustrate all your efforts. And that's why it would have been easier and better for APC to have a consensus. If they have reached consensus in everything they decide to do in the House, it will be better for them. But where you now have the black sheep, the black legs, in APC, disagreeing with the party leadership, we will always have PDP coming in now to play, the game of the spoiler. And that is too dangerous for them. So APC should understand this politics. They should understand it. But can they actually reach a consensus? Because these are people from different backgrounds with different ideology. Their interest then was common, take power from from PDP. Now that you have gotten the power, what are you doing with the power? Now that is the issue. So issue of sharing positions, it is the same politician. When people are saying that APC and PDP are the same, they are same politicians. When they are leaving PDP and joining APC, people were saying, were they really born again? Have they become changed because they are now in APC? Were they not the same people we know as Nigerian politicians, with always their selfish interest to protect? That was what people were saying. But because of the fact that they needed everyone to be together in order to grab the power, nobody was looking at each other, whether these guys have actually changed, have the orientation, this materialistic acquisition, this desire to acquire and conquer and own all the houses all over the world, has it actually changed because you are joining APC now? So this is the issue. So it was a question of all comers, come, let us take power from these people. And everyone was shouting change. Now that we have gotten the change, how altruistic are these members that have defected from PDP to join APC? How altruistic are even some of the APC members? Some of them are the same. But Nigerian politicians, they all believe in a material acquisition. No one sleeps in more than a bed. But these guys will build houses all over the place. They have it in Abuja. They have it all over in Lagos. They have it in London. They have it in France. Those things have not changed.
We'll still come to that. We'll still come to that. But you made mention of the issue of consensus. Now, it was a consensus they had in their own secret meeting that they want this set of people to become the Senate president and the speaker to the House of Representatives. That at a point, some group went to stop the party at the back.
So there was no consensus then?
They agreed.
No, there was
now, my question now is now between consensus and internal democracy. If you could recall, the APC primaries, they had the internal democracy to play out. They had the primaries that eventually brought out Buhari as the sole candidate of the APC, and nobody grumbled. But at the point of having a consensus meeting...
It wasn't a sole candidate, there was a contest.
Yeah, they had a contest where Buhari emerged as what? The party flag bearer.
There was a
now,
contest. Now,
why not allow such to transpire in electing your leaders in the Senate and the House of Representatives?
That is what also, you can misfire. We're not infallible. It's only God that is infallible. And I think the APC also must have also learned their lesson. If they have allowed internal democracy, even in the so-called mock election they conducted, in selecting who is going to be the Senate President and the Speaker to actually prevail, they may not have played into the hands of PDP. If they allowed them to do secret balloting, because what those guys were insisting, the Sarakis and Dogaras were insisting is that let's do secret voting in choosing who is going to be the Speaker and who amongst ourselves before we get to the House. The PDP, the APC leadership said no, it must be an open voting. It must be open. It shouldn't be secret, so that they know those who are dissidents and probably begin to make out punishment. And those guys said no, we cannot, because we will not have the free mind in order to to elect actually the person that we feel should be. So how I wish that APC had heeded that advice and allow the majority to choose whosoever they want among themselves, even though they might have their own preferences. Okay, this is the person I want. But if the majority in the APC say this is the person they want, they should have allowed it to prevail. But they did not want it that way. And they wanted secret balloting. And those guys said, no, we cannot participate in this. And they all fell out. And they now start reaching out to PDP. They now reach out to PDP, contrary to the party's instruction. But it also goes again to show the level of discipline. Because this is very key. If you have worked and came into power under a political platform, and that political party is saying this is the way for us to go, in order for us to actualize our dream, in order for us to actualize our objective in giving the people dividends of democracy and effecting the change, maybe it would have been better for those people to key in. But at the same time, they might also look at the people that are saying this is the person they want. What is their own motive also? So it's a complex issue. It is so much complex. Those guys that came to APC had the ambition. Somebody like Saraki that defected from PDP has his own plan. He has his own ambition. And his ambition is not even Senate presidency. It doesn't stop here. He's aiming even to be the contest for presidency, if possible, in 2019. Also, Atiku has not in any way buried his ambition, because there is now an alliance between Atiku and Saraki, and even with Buhari. So these things are playing out, So Nigeria is a complex country. The only way all this manner of manipulations, all this manner of what do you call it now, political abracadabra that is playing out in a Nigerian polity will die, is when we do the right thing by devolving powers properly to the federating units. Let everyone go back to his own state or his own region and go and play, the politics you're supposed to play by generating enough resources to run your own territory efficiently. And so there will be less concentration at the national level. So all this schism, all these manipulative tendencies, all this manner of political will all die. I'm just telling you. All this issue of accentuating, tribal bigotry and religious, ethnicity, and religious bigotry will die. So if people go back to their areas, go and play this your politics in your own medicine, but go and generate revenue. Control your resources. Then pay a certain percentage to the federal level. I tell you, all this issue that you are seeing playing out at national level will just die down, because everyone will become a champion in his own. Go and generate. Whatever you generate.
When do you think that will happen?
That will only come when a government that means well for this nation comes in.
And when are we going to have that government?
That is what I feel that this change should be. Because if we continue the same way, running Nigeria the same way we met it, these people met it and all that, Nigeria will never have peace. I'm just telling you, we will never, reach that land of Eldorado. We will not, under this present arrangement. Nigeria is structured in such a way to fail. Nigeria is structured in such a way to fail. So the best thing is that when you have, these variables like ethnicity, we are so many tribes. Issue of religion, where it's not one religion, and all that variable that are playing out, that are so diverse. What you do to run such a particular country is to ensure that you devolve power to the federating unit. It happened all over the world. Go and check all the countries that have these diversities. They really devolve power so that at your own level, you begin to operate, and then less concentration at the national level. But the moment everything is coming from the national, the allocation is from the national. National gives you money to go and pay salaries to the state, but takes from the state and then go and allocate and give you call cap in hand. That cannot be a proper system, and that system engenders ethnicity. Such system endangers religious bigotry. It engenders all manner of variables in order to really accentuate, the division, hatred, hate speeches. See what is going on between the Yorubas and Igbos. See what is going on between the Hausas and Igbos and Yorubas and all that. Because of this cake. And what is that cake? That cake is domiciled in Abuja.
The national cake.
The national cake.
Now, you've always been known as a man known for change, advocating for change.
That's
now,
right.
Before the era of this government, you've come on this show analyzing issues. Now, the change you are now seeing, is that a true sense of change that you have been expecting?
Now, the change that all of us feel is Buhari. Buhari represented a face, that all of us, believe, can actually affect some level and measure of change, especially on this issue of even devolution of powers. Because it's not as if taking change and then continue with the system. If you continue with the same system, Buhari will still be a failure. I'm just telling you, if you continue with this particular present system of running federal government this way, where there's so much concentration of power at the national level, Buhari will still be a failure. And then the only thing is that he may maximize some certain level of advantages and make the country to be running in certain aspects. But by and large, we will not, come to that land, that land, the land of glory that all of us envisage. We should go back to the 60s and see how the economy was running, where almost all the regions were competing in everything, and they were doing so well. The University of Ife, you were talking about, Ibadan, the stadium in Ibadan, the University of Nigeria and Soccer, the bank, the CCB, yes, ACB, then, and all manner of other things. The Operas raised so many industries in the East. So many industries came under in the 60s, within a period of 5 or 6 years. Come and see how the economy of the Southeast was developing, faster than many economies in the entire world, It was the fastest growing economy because there was competition. The same thing with the North. They were, ABU and all that. There was so much competition, and they were all developing. Everyone, there was not much concentration at national level, and they were all doing well. So how come now you are now running a unitary system, and every power is, and then we are not making any progress? There is no single industry that has been established by any of these state governors between 1999 and 2015. Go and watch out. There is no single industry. You say you have so many industries here now. Nigerians have been employed in such. Go and watch all the states. So what they do is just allocation, and then they go and pay salary. They monitor them. They don't even pay the salary. Some of them are owing 11 months now salary. Some of them are owing almost 7 months. 7 months. Why? Because they're no longer investing. They're not opening up any industry any longer. We used to hear where states were making investments, so that there will be return on investment.
But some of them are not crying foul because of the fall in oil price,
yes,
and the issue of the subsidy.
Yeah, when you had the windfall, what did you do with the money? Was there any savings? Are state government not meant to save money in case of rainy day? Are they not supposed to do investment? I remember there was a particular investment that Lagos State did with, is it Airtel? It's been called Airtel, but then it was called
Econex.
Then. State, even when they came in 1999, they started some form of even investment. After some time, that era, after Bola Tinubu's era and all that, no more investment. State governors are not known for investing on anything at all, either in property or even in shares or whatever. They were not. So just go in cap in hand, collect, share. Go the next month again, collect, share. So no investment, no industries, no industrialization of the states. So can we continue running Nigeria this way? You think any Buhari's government will succeed?
Now, don't you think the issue of godfatherism is playing out indirectly in this administration?
Yeah, the the point is that there is no way Buhari would have won the election.
Because
Without-
you know why I brought
without-
this.
without
You know
the
why I
Buhari-
brought this, Monday Bani. You
Yeah.
said something that the only change you're expecting is the only person you saw changing is Buhari.
Yes.
Why not the supporters, people behind him, people around him?
No, these are people who have played politics. We know them. I mean, I've been in this country. I know all the people behind Buhari. Buhari was a different species. We saw him at that phase. If not, but Buhari won the primaries in APC, there is no way APC would have grabbed power at the national level. From the PDP, it's not possible. If it is Atiku, they will. If it is Kwakwanso, there's no way. It is my brother Rocha Sokoro. There's no way they would have won this power. There's no way they would have grabbed power at the national level. So it was Buhari. Buhari has this what we call massive followership.
Can a tree make a forest?
Now let me tell you now. It's not a question of a tree making it. I say the change itself that came, in grabbing power from PDP was there was a man, and that man remains Buhari. That made a difference. That made people say this is a man we think should. But then he now requires people also to now key into the spirit of Nigeria, that this is the change we desire and that this man can effect that change. But he must also seek the support, and those people that are behind him must also support him. So where there's going to be a problem is that if these guys do not have the same spirit, the issue of being altruistic, that we want Nigeria actually to change for the sake of ourselves, for the sake of our children, for the sake of our grandchildren. That spirit is what we want. If they don't have it, somebody should lay hands on them now for them to have it, so that we can move this country forward. If they don't have that spirit, there's no way Buhari can succeed, because he needs their support. He needs all their support to succeed. In taking ministers, what manner of ministers are we bringing? Are they technocrats? Are they that can move this country forward? Do they have the interests of this nation? Is there patriotic zeal in them? Is there love of this nation? Is it love of money they are coming in? So this is where this thing, we need to lay hands on them in order to agree and have this, because the spirit of every Nigerian is for this change. And we cannot continue running a country this way, where majority are living in abject poverty, while minority are living in what we call obscene opulence. You see them when they are going, the number of cars that follow them. And then meanwhile, somebody cannot afford 1 meal a day. Somebody do not have any job. And then you feel so comfortable that you are running a country where majority are in poverty and you are living in opulence and you feel comfortable. No. So we need to pray for them to have a new spirit. And whatever we can do, we should do it. And that's why I'm praying for Nigerians to be alert. That we cannot stay in a country where God has endowed this country with so much natural resources, and only few people are the one enjoying it. Majority are living in abject poverty. No, it cannot continue this way. It takes the people themselves to wake up from slumber and say, no, this cannot continue. This is not normal. It's abnormal that where we have so much, we are living in abject poverty. You are in the water, and then soap enters into your eyes. Then something is wrong with you. So we have so much God has endowed us with. Do you know that I carried out a research recently? And that research revealed that most of the government agencies and parastatals generate so much money. And contrary to every extant law, they don't pay this money into the federation account. They domicile this money and begin to spend this money. And most of this I carried out show that some of them generate up to 6 trillion in a year. 3 trillion in a year. And this money is not paid. And then what is our annual budget? Even with what we generate and with what comes from custom, what comes from all the revenue generating parastatals, we can run our economy without borrowing any external borrowing. But we allow the leakages in the system, and then be saying that we cannot pay salary, and say we cannot in any way develop our key infrastructures. Something is fundamentally wrong with us, and we're depending on only one thing, oil. And then when the oil prices go down and all that, how much comes in with federal inland revenue services? Go and watch out how much they generate in a year. I'm talking about taxes, because the government is taking taxes now, issue of taxation, very seriously. And they're generating so much money. Sometimes 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion in a year. And then how much is our annual budget? So where does this money go? These guys, they domicile this money in their own account and spend and squander the money, and they don't put it in federation account. The normal thing is for this money to come into federation account, then the National Assembly will appropriate it before the government agencies will begin to spend. But they don't bring it in. Central Bank, all of them are all guilty. I did that research. And I discovered that all the government, 52 of them, even NIMASA, they generate so much in the billions. FAN, NTA, I did it.
And what step did you take after the
No,
research?
I want to publish it. I've written that article. I want to send it to all the newspapers to really publish and then point a direction for Buhari to know where the leakages are coming from so that he can close it. Because the greatest people that are causing so much havoc in the system, political elites, quite all right, but the civil servants.
They know where the leakages are, and they are doing it in conjunction.
And
Yes.
these are the people that are saying that their salaries have not been paid.
Yes, they are the one complaining. I believe that we must pay them their salaries. But I also want the government to know that if they know the havoc that civil servants are causing in the economy, we will know what to do to block the leakages. These guys are the ones that own all the houses in Abuja. They will build those houses and place the rent at a higher amount. If you want to take it, fine. Those houses can be there for 4 or 5 years.
How sure are you with all this facts?
I have my facts. Go and find out if people in Abuja will tell you all those houses you see in Abuja are built by civil servants. All those complexes you see are built by civil servants. Money stolen from the treasury. They are so rich. All over the world, they own houses. I'm just telling you what civil servants are doing. They are the ones that teach politicians when they come in, oh God, we don't do it this way. This is the way to eat money. What they do is that they don't even allow the budget to be spent. So towards the end of the year, with the directive of late President Yar'Adua that you must return all the money you have not spent. So towards the end of the year, they start asking for receipts in order to make sure that those monies are all spent so that they don't have anything to return to the treasury. They know how to do it. They can call you now whether you have any bank account so that they can domicile that amount into your listen, and they begin to raise receipts in order to show expenses that never was spent.
Have you ever worked as a civil servant?
I have not, but I know what goes on in the civil service. I have my information. I'm a member of the civil society group. We know what goes on in this country. When Bola Tinubu came in as a governor, he found out that if you allow the civil servants to be the one collecting the revenue for Lagos State will not make any progress. What he did now was he blocked all the loopholes and gave it to a particular private company to do. Before you know it, from 600 million, you now begin to hear about 1 billion, 2 billion. Today, Lagos State now is the highest internally generated revenue state in the Federation, followed by Rivers. And then even Osun now that is just coming in also, they are learning some of the things that Lagos State is doing in order to block the loophole.
But Osun
is going because the man embarked on so many projects, without considering the cost. And of course, so that the election also took place. Most of them took money to do election. If anyone tells you that this state that are owing, were they owing last year? They started owing because election was coming. They were mopping up all the money for election. So election has come and gone. So the reality on ground is that they have spent money for election. Are you know that way? All of them. It's not a question of only PDP or all of them. They use the money to spend for election.
But what they are crying now is that the federal government, that there are some of the projects that they've done for the federal government in their own states. That the federal government
if the federal government has done, if they have done any project on behalf of federal government, with the knowledge of federal government, because you must also, carry the federal government along. Oh, you're supposed to do this role, but you're not doing it. But for the sake of the people, let's do it. And then they must reach a partnership with government. The federal government also have to offset their debt. It's very important. So federal government have to pay them, but they must have done this contract with the full knowledge of the federal government, on behalf of the federal government. But I also say that is one of those things that I consider abnormally. It's very, it's not normal. Why would I have federal government do my own state road? My own thinking in our constitution, if you want to amend it, is that all the roads in your state is your road. Do it. Don't tell me that this is strong A road, this is strong B, this is federal government road, this is state.
And that is what has been in place ever since.
And it's wrong. It's wrong because my own thinking is that all roads should belong to the state and local government there. Every road should be done by the state. Let them use the money internally they generate and do their roads. I'm not saying that this is a federal government road. So when you are doing a road that is in your state, you are saying this is a strong A and all that. That is absolute rubbish. We should not continue that way if you really want development to take place. Every road in your state, it belongs to you, so go ahead and develop it. So we must amend that constitution. I'm looking at the 8th National Assembly. Those of them, if they are listening, we must change that particular order of doing things. Whatever is in your state belongs to you. Do it with your money you generate. That's where to go. So all the issue of doing a road and say it's federal government road, come and pay me, that is an absurdity, and I think it should not be allowed to continue.
Barrister Monday UBANI is still very much in the studio looking at the era of change, early happenings and expectations. You can join us in our conversation. The phone lines are on the screen. Let's have your calls and you make your comment. But right now we'll go on a short break for commercials and we'll be back with more. Do join us again.
It is often said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But what about the things in life that actually inspire us to believe? Like the things that drive us, the things that move us, and even the things that remind us that the sky really isn't our limit. Because when we are inspired, We are led to future greatness. But first, we just have to believe.
One day I want to build Nigeria's first aeroplane.
I know. One day, you'll make us proud.
Rich and creamy peak, extra fortified with 28 vitamins and minerals. Here's to 60 years of nourishing dreams and inspiring the future. The future is bright. Reach for your peak.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
If you just joined us, the program is called Digest, and we are looking at the era of change, early happenings, and exploitation. I still have with me in the studio the former NBA chairman to the Keja branch NBA, Barrister Monday UBANI, still very much in the studio. Now, let's look at, as part of the early happenings in the APC, we have the party's National Working Committee that end in deadlock. What's your take on all this? And also the banner of Tinubu that was taken out of the secretariat.
Maybe somebody is trying to be so petty. I see no reason why his banner should be removed. He's still the leader of the political party. I think it may not be a decision taken by the political party. Maybe somebody that wants to be mischievous, went and removed his banner. But that is a minor issue. That is too minor. The issue of deadlock, in National Working Committee. I understand that Tinubu is not in town. He went to UK, so, and then as I said earlier, so many variable interests, they had to be contented with. That's why people are arguing that the ministerial list is delaying. It's because the man wants to carry everyone along. I mean, President Buhari wants to carry everyone along. There are so many interests. He may have drawn his own list, but he must also take into cognizance that you came under a platform. He must also take into cognizance that some people sponsored you. So you have to listen to them one way or the other, but the final decision lies with him. Because if he fails...
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? I think we lost that call.
Okay.
You can go on.
Yeah, if he fails, the world will not look at Tinubu, will not look at it. They will look at Buhari. And as I said earlier, most of the changes, the change we all sang is because we saw him as a man, in the forefront. In the war front, he's the one that we saw, and we voted for him. So he also have to listen to them, but the final decision, resides with him. He knows that these are the men I can work with in order to actualize my dream, because I have sought for this how many times. This is my 4th time in, angling to be a president, and the people has given me this mandate, so I must succeed. And why I must succeed is that I must have the right men and women to work with me. So they can make their suggestion, fine, listen to them. They are the one that sponsored you and all that, and helped you to become whatever you are. But tell them the reason why this man cannot work with you, why this man must work with you in order to actualize your dream.
Do you think that will not mar some progress in the party if some people from some quarters are saying, oh, I want Mr. A to be there, I want Mrs. B
There's nothing wrong in suggesting, but you must also tell them why you are choosing this person and why you want this person to work with you, and they should give you time to see whether this person will approve that, because you have the mandate of the people. We voted for APC quite all right, but why we voted for APC?
Just a moment, Monday. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello. Good morning. Your name and where you are calling from?
Hello.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Please ensure you reduce the volume of your TV set so that you can hear us crystal clear. You can go on with your comment.
Yes. So he must understand that people voted for him and he has the ultimate mandate, to go ahead and actualize what our expectations are. And we have so many of them. There are key infrastructure that are not working. The light issue, the issue of our roads, the issue of the economy. A lot of youths are jobless. So he must fix the economy, the issue of insecurity. These are key issues that he made promises on. And so how to actualize it now become his priority. And who he must work with.
Just a moment, Monday. Good morning, your name and where you are calling from. I think we lost that call. You can go with your
Now, who is going to work with also becomes his priority. So he must make that ultimate choice of citizen men and women that are capable, that have the patriotic zeal, that are men of integrity. The issue of capacity is very key. Competence is key. You know, if he has all that, you know, then he can move along with them. Within 6 months, you can turn this country around.
Don't you
can give this country a direction.
Within 6 months?
Yes, you can give Nigeria a direction. We know where we're headed as a nation. Before now, Nigeria is clearly not in a clear, you know, position where we are. I am so happy also with the goodwill, you know, we are getting from the international communities. You know, so much as, you know, goodwill here and there. People have even lined up visitation and all that. You should also be careful, because there's not even a free lunch in Freetown. Because whatever they are giving you with one hand, they will take it even with both hands. So we must be careful where we place ourselves. As I said, we have enough money to generate internally and run an efficient economy without borrowings. Because they will now go and put him under pressure. Oh, remove the oil subsidy, do all that. Let him bring somebody like...
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Monday. Good morning. What's your name and where you are calling from?
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello. Good morning. My name is Richard.
Could you please speak up, please? Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good morning. My name is Richard.
Richard from where?
I'm speaking from Lekki.
Richard from Lekki. Thank you for joining us on Call Digest.
From Lekki. Thank you very much.
Can we have your comments?
Yes, please. There's a lot of issue on the ground. Is that we should realize that election has been won, and then the minister also should accept and realize that this is Nigeria and nothing else. So, I think it will make it fail because of whatever they are believing. And because of that, every move of the president is being challenged. I have the conviction that if government for the next 6 months can work with the permanent secretary, and I think they move around the country with a good job. When the minister comes in, most of the time, they destabilize the system. They want to bring in a lot of people. They put aside the permanent secretary. And then this struggle continues. So for me, I think Nigeria should encourage the President Buhari to continue to use the existing permanent secretary. And we understand the system very well. Because when they get in there, they shift the permanent secretary to the president. Then the next thing is to declare the presidency, the presidency. So I will strongly believe that it is not about rushing to get a minister, but the issue is that I will get to the government move. And people can do it. The permanent secretary has gone through the process. They know the in and out of the business. It should also be allowed to function. And let's see what happens.
Thank you very much for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
So I just want to encourage Nigeria. Support this government. Let's put aside. The election is gone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, you're saying that we should support the government. The election is gone. He should take his time to appoint his ministers.
Yeah, what are we doing here? We are supporting him, but it's very wrong to suggest that he should run his government with 2 permanent secretaries. He might even mention in South Africa that he's not young any longer.
The age barrier
comes in. So he'll be receiving a briefing from all the ministries. No, there should be ministers that will actually help him to run his administration, because every decision cannot be taken by Buhari. Every decision to how to run. It's a complex country, and it's a very big country. A country of over 170 million, you know, in population. So there is no way you can run this country with a permanent secretary. All of them going to go and brief Buhari in Nasoro, a man of 72 years old. You know, so that would be killing. In fact, Hastings is dead. So he requires capable men and women to help him run the ministries and take decisions for the sake and for the interest of the nation. And so issue of running the country with only permanent secretaries, I don't subscribe to that. We are patient with him. People are already supporting. We are telling him, but we must also point the direction, clearly for him, the area he should concentrate and do the right thing. Because most Nigerians, we are patience. That's where we have given our leaders. We've been patient with them since 1960 up to this point, and they have not taken us to.
And the question the average Nigerian is on the street is always saying is, when are we going to have that change? When we keep saying, don't worry, People expectation was so high when Buhari was coming in, and this man setting, the issue of insurgency is gone.
No, the change you're talking about, it's not going to be automatic now, my brother. The foundation of any house, you start from somewhere. You have to clear the bush. Nigeria has not, the foundation of this country has not been properly laid. But the change we are talking about is that we should not do the same thing we've been doing over the years. Just like...
not doing the same thing we've been doing over the years. Good morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello, good morning, are you there? We love that, we lost that call. Go on.
No, remember that he has ordered that how many planes now in the fleet, 7 out of 9.
Out of 9?
Should be sold, So some people say you should go and open up Nigerian Airways again and all that. I don't believe that if you leave this issue of Nigerian Airways in the hands of public servants, they will run it well. The corruption in the system, unless we eliminate it and make a death penalty of people who are corrupt in this nation, if you steal the same method and the same judicial system we have in place, I don't see any of this functioning very well. So what I'm saying is that it is a good decision for us to, in order to recover money, 1 or 2 aircraft is enough for the presidency. That is the change we are talking about. We don't want impunity in the system. We don't want somebody who has committed a crime, to come to court and they enter knowledge prosecution and then the man goes home. That's the change we are talking. There must be a change in the order of doing things, irrespective of who you are. If you have committed a crime in this country, the judicial system should be effective enough to get you, prosecuted, and successfully at that. That is the change we are talking about. We want to see all the loopholes being plugged. We want to see a minister going with only 2 cars on the road, and not with over 20 cars. We want to see a governor when he's on his convoy, maybe only 2 or 3 cars. Not, with siren. The change we are talking about is that the way of doing things before, let there be a departure from it. Let us begin now to do things for the sake of the people. Any government policy, any government idea must be what is the interest of the people. Will this bring general happiness? Will this enhance their welfare? And if we will, let's go ahead and implement it, and not for the minority they were doing before. So that is the change we are talking about, brother.
But you agree with me that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
That's why some of them can go in convoy and can do all of atrocities and believe they have immunity.
Yes.
And the immunity clause in the Constitution has given them the right to do anything in office.
Yes.
And when they are out there, there's nothing you can do.
Even when they enter into the Senate, they even think that immunity continues. So we must not call down on all that. We must have an effective state house of assembly that will checkmate what the governors are doing. We must have a national assembly that will checkmate what the ministers and the president is doing. We must have a judiciary, that acts as an arbiter. When somebody has offended the law and comes before you, the judiciary is activated and make sure that person suffers.
Just a moment, Monday UBANI. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello. Good morning. Your name and where you are calling from? I think we lost that call. Go on.
Why are we losing the calls? I would have loved to hear from you. So the point is that we must have every institution working. The EFCC must be activated. The ICPC, the police, all of them, the customs. Let the customs be very, altruistic. When something is coming into the country and all that, you charge them properly, and then make sure that the money is also, is paid into the federation account. Let's have all the institutions monitoring one another. The police force, all of them. So that is the change we are talking about, that everyone must be alive. Then I as an individual, I must also change my way, my own orientation, my own understanding.
Just a moment, Monday UBANI. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you are calling from? What's happening today? I think the service provider is not sending more signals.
Honestly, so it is the issue of things working the way it's supposed to work, how things are working in other countries, and when we go there, we see sanity. Let there be sanity in our country. Are you following me? Let somebody that is driving on the way not be throwing away things. Let somebody not be urinating on the main road. Orderliness. Let there be, when you are in the bank, anywhere you queue up. If you are not the first person, you don't come and then be on the, and be the person who person is going to be attended to. You queue up because others are there.
Nigerians are always in a rush.
Yeah, you don't need to be in a rush. If you want to be in a rush, then you wake up early and then start out on time. If you have an appointment in Lagos Island and you know that there is hold up, you wake up and start and set out on time so that there won't be any issue of being mad on the road. So what I'm trying to say is that it is a matter of discipline. It's a matter of doing things differently, the way we have been doing things. A lot of impunity in the system, a lot of people doing things in a lawless manner. We must end all that.
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you are calling from?
Okay, I'm Mr. Favor. I'm calling from Sabo Yaba.
Thank you very much, Favor, from Sabo Yaba, Lagos.
I'm Mr. Favor. I'm calling from Yaba.
Thank you very much for joining us on Call TV News.
Yes. Please, I want to say good morning to you and your guests there.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I'm saying good morning to you and your guests there.
Thank you,
We are
sir.
responding. Good morning, sir.
Mr. Oba, he has spoken well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want to compliment what you have just said concerning Buhari. You see, Buhari came on a platform. He came, and as such, there is no, as Anurali say, he owes them a duty of sorts. He owes the party a duty of sorts to carry them along in his appointment and everything. Having said that, there is something I want him to know. He is also subject to the constitution of the party, just as he is subject to the constitution of Nigeria.
Go on and make your comment. We can hear you.
Yeah, so, and he cannot just, his body language as such, and his words, yes, his body language and his comments shouldn't be that which will make the party vulnerable to the opposition.
Mr. Favor, could you please reduce the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you loud and clear?
What is at play now, the National Assembly? Okay. What is at play now, the National Assembly? The PDP are happy, are at peace with it. And I want you to know that if it was the PDP government, there was no way they would have allowed that to come to place. So there is no way you can throw away your engine and have your car. What you have is scrap. So the engine, the National Assembly, is the engine of this government, is the engine of the party. So they should address the problem there now. The leadership, whether pressure should be put on him to step down and they do proper election and elect their principal officer.
Thank you for joining us on Call TV News on Call Digest this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless.
Yeah, you've heard his comments. What's your take on all this?
Yeah, he is right that Buhari must not, sell out the APC or the platform under which he came. And the kind of statement he also makes should not in any way denigrate, the political party on the platform under which he came. Because the PDP is waiting in the wings, for any slightest move that shows a crack in the house, and they will take a maximum, punch, they will inflict what we call collateral damage, in APC, and make APC now to be hated by the people, so because they want to come back in 2019. And so anything that will show that particular division and then openly display it, to the public and say that we are having a problem, they should avoid it. But the most important thing is the spirit of altruism. National interest, should now occupy the mind of both Buhari and even those that made him to emerge. I mean, within the political party, somebody like Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu, God has blessed him. God has blessed him in a position, to have achieved what he has achieved so far. Because without him, bringing all these people together, we wouldn't have come to the level we are today. So he must also understand his place in national history. But having said that, we also want him to really, try and bring down his ambition and allow national interest now to super, because he has a place in history already. God has blessed him so much financially. God has blessed him in everything. And so now that God has blessed him thus far, let him also go along with God in everything, that I want the people's interest now to matter. Are you following me, sir? So that he must now try and much as possible have a meeting with Buhari, and then both of them agree that we must make this country work, irrespective whether it is southwest, irrespective of north or southeast. The interest will be national interest. Unless they have it, I see them having problem very soon. Unless they come together with a consensus in this for the sake of the nation, I see them having a crisis.
Monday, UBANI, do you see a Saraki defecting to the PDP?
It's not possible. He will not defect.
Are you sure?
No, he will not.
Don't you think the era of temporalization?
No, he will not defect unless APC rejects him completely now and say they have nothing to do with him. He must have a base. And so if he has no base any longer within APC, I'll see him going back to PDP. But if APC look at what has happened as okay, let's try as much as possible to monitor him, and make sure that his ambition does not, kill the party, and they himself also try it as much as possible to, simmer down on his own ambition too. I tell you, they will work together. But if he doesn't want it that way, I see him going back to PDP. Now, but not immediate.
Some of the expectations of Nigerians on this government is that he should be able to fix the issue of power and the issue of unemployment.
You mean the government?
This president.
Yeah, they will. Now, when you have right men and women, I'm very happy with Oshibajo, Prof. Yemi Oshibajo, his son. He's he's an intellectual. And already, if there is consensus among them, they will commission the best brains in this country to find a solution to this power issue. It doesn't require, it's not rocket science. Already in my house, as I was living, there was light. Since Buhari came, there has been a slight improvement, you know, I don't know of the area, but
just
many areas.
Just a moment. Good morning, your name and where you're calling from.
From Benue State, Comfort from Benue State.
Comfort from Benue State. Thank you for joining us on Core TV News Core Digest this morning. Comfort, can you please reduce the volume of your TV set so that you can hear us loud and clear?
Yes, I will.
You can go on and make your comments.
Okay. Please, I want to thank the Oga that is talking there. It is like you. Okay. I want to thank the Oga that is talking there. It's like he knows the problem of Nigeria in one share. If only they will listen. If only the people in authority will listen. All he has said is what we need to make this country move forward. How I wish he will make it known to the people on top that this is what they need. This is the solution they need for every problem he has tackled. That is the solution. But how will he take it to the top that they will now know that this is what is actually the problem?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's what we do on Core TV News. Core TV News is 24 hours news station where we talk and inform everybody out there about what is happening in Nigeria. Monday UBANI is still very much in the studio, and you just heard what she said.
Yeah, the solution to Nigeria's problem is not rocket science, as I said. Even this is your power. Have a lot of Nigerians who know the solution. They come together. I tell you, within a short time, you find out that there's going to be an improvement in living life. It's not. I mean, if Ghana, other smaller countries, you go there is light. I went to South Africa. I stayed there for 2 weeks. There was not even a single day. There was no light there. So if other countries could attend that, is it through 2 years or 3 years there? What resources they have that we don't have? So what is it? It's just mismanagement of our resources. And then we must also deal with those who import generator. Because they're the ones that are encouraging the vandalization of the pipeline, making sure that we don't have constant light. Those who are importing diesel, we must also deal with them. We must also monitor them. Monitor the generator importers. They are the ones that are wreaking havoc on our issue of energy.
Just a moment. Good morning, your name and where you are calling from.
Good morning. I'm Mr. Tony from Abulegba.
Mr. Tony from Abulegba. Thank you for joining us on Core Digest this morning.
Yes. I am very, very interested in this call discussion.
Thank you, sir.
Guest speaker on seat is really saying the mind of people. Barrister UBANI is really saying the mind of people. If Nigeria needs to succeed, we must practice true federalism. True federalism is what we need in this country to succeed. And then those people in the House of Assembly and the House of Rep will also keep their selfish interests aside. And then know that they are being voted in there to protect the interests of the masses. Let them cut down all their own allowances and then make sure that the people and the masses of this country enjoy out of it. We are living in a country that we are blessed with all kind of mineral resources. But 90 or 85% of people are living in abject poverty. It's not ideal. And God will not be happy with them if they continue in this trend and then the trend changes. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you for calling on Core Digest this morning. Let's have more of your calls. Monday UBANI is still very much in the studio. You heard what you said. Allowances, unpaid salaries versus big-time allowances for our senators. And that's why most times when they get in there, everyone wants to be a senator.
Yes, and House of Reps member.
I hope when you get there, you will not behave like that.
All of them that...
when you get there, will you behave like that?
By the first thing we will insist is issue of cutting down allowances and salaries. Because what is budgeted for them this year is 120 billion. Now you have less than 1,000 people in the House. I'm talking about including the bureaucracy. Because what they are is 360 members in the Federal House, House of Reps, and you have 109 senators. 360 plus 109, they are not up to 600. Then you have people who are workers there. They are not up to 1,000 in total. And then you budget 150 million hitherto. And then this year you now reduce it to 120 billion. What is the percentage of these people compared to the percentage that are living in abject poverty? And then you are telling me that you are giving them 500,000 naira wardrobe allowance. Were they naked before they come there? Is it Georgia Money that will be the designer? So what's saying? Why
just a moment, Monday UBANI. Good morning, your name and where you are calling from. What's your name and where you are calling from? Go on and make your comment.
Okay, I'm Mohammed from Kogi State.
Mohammed from Kogi State. Thank you for joining us on Call Digest this morning.
You're welcome. I'm sure you always comment on the demand sitting there beside you. In fact, we are very actually display in Nigeria. Because it's like the man knows the problem of Nigeria. He's speaking the mind of Nigeria, what Nigeria is expecting from the new government. And I will say that my own view is this thing that I'm talking about. It's not only in the national assembly. I mean, it's national level alone. So that change must come down from the national level to the state and state to the local government.
That's right.
So even having said that, even the Mr. President himself, there are some ministries, the core ministries, is supposed to monitor by himself. Most of some vital ministries, by Minister of Mines and Steel, the Minister of Minister of Petroleum, Minister of Power, and others. So himself to make sure that the people that you are going to monitor this place must make sure that he knows them and knows their capability. Not those people that are there for money monger. So those are the kind of those are the things that you are going to do contribution. Those are the kind of change we are expecting to do for us. And so that this government can actually set the governance in this country. So that is my own contribution.
Thank you for calling on Call Digest this morning. Monday UBANI. What's your take?
Yeah, he has mentioned the issue of change. You know, there are expectations. And the people are the one now drawing up the agenda for President Buhari. And so you must listen to them. I was so happy yesterday when I saw Governor Ambode. You know, he came to somewhere like, what do you call it, Beggar. And discovered...
All traffic-prone areas.
Yeah, you following me? He did well. That is a good one. Because in that Beggar, if you see the kind of hold on a daily basis, and when the government feels the impulse of the people and say, I must alleviate their suffering, he went there and said, we have to do this, there's going to be overhead bridge, then all those bus stops on the main road, I have to stop all this nonsense. And that is the way to go. Tell me, if this man begin to address all the needs of the people in Lagos State, why we will not be happy with the people who are ruling us? Tell me, at the national level it goes there, we'll be happy. I'm not interested who is my governor, where he comes from. I'm not interested in his religion. What I'm interested in is giving me good governance. That is the issue.
Just a moment, Monday UBANI. Good morning. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
I'm Jamie. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Jamie from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us on Call Digest this morning. What's your comment?
Sir, my comment is all about this House of Rep and the senators.
Thank you.
What they are earning is too much. I don't think this we have they call a change. The so-called Ben Bruce also there too. I heard that one say that you shift his money to the people for justice and part of it too. Why can't they go into the law and class this in totality? Why must it be any such amount? How are we going to go in this way? Is it possible? It is not possible. We also have... Hello?
I can hear you. Go on.
We also have the so-called the APC senators. What are they there for? They are there for change and they are still going for this allowance. The so-called, what is it called? What's his name? Senator President. He also there too. And he said they are one thing. What kind of thing are we demanding for years, sir? Why they are any so that who the amount of money for? Whatever allowance? What allowance are there too? For how long are we to continue with this? I beg Nigeria to cry out for this. It doesn't worth it. If they don't want to change, let them leave that place. Because they said they change our advocates. Why are they now going for this huge amount of money for only wardrobe allowances? We don't know that of car allowances, all those allowances have to be there too. I think really a change advocate. I'm not sure they are. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling on Call Digest this morning. But this is not the first time we'll be having these bumper packages for senators. Why are people crying foul?
Because of the mantra change. If it was for 16 years under PDP, people would not be making this noise. You know, some people came to us and said, this is the reason why we want to take over power, because the way of doing things, we have to change them. You know, we cannot continue with all these bogus and obscene allowances for members of the House. And so we now say, oh, you will do this, then for this we are giving you our mandate. And so that's why you now see the issue of resurrection of agitation and say, you know, if you are an agent of change, then we need to start the change from you. You go to the house and say, no, gentlemen, 120 billion is too much. Let's cut it down to, you know, maybe 50 billion. Because what is the population? What is the percentage? Go to the villages and see people living in abject poverty. I don't know whether how long you travel to your village. I go to my village and I see people being buried even on a Sunday. Some people being buried on a Saturday, some on Friday. Almost every day now there is burial arrangement. Why? Because there is no hospital. There are no good medical care, you know, for our citizens. You go to be tested, they tell you are suffering from malaria and this, whereas you have, you know, cancer and all that, because they don't have the equipment. What we're saying is that we must not continue this way. Somebody has a problem now, heart issue, in a relation of mine, so many people. And my UBANI's foundation, if you see the kind of application I receive every day, either liver, kidney, or heart issue and all that, and I don't have the money. I'm not in government.
Monday, but because of time, do you foresee a new Nigeria, and when will that happen?
New Nigeria will come when we restructure Nigeria. But for now, what President Buhari needs to do is to get the right caliber of men and women that will help him run this administration. And the people that made him to emerge, I mean the political stakeholders, must also have the same spirit with him. Because there is so much expectation from the people on them. And it will be very disastrous for APC to fail. I'm just telling you. Because it will make the people to lose confidence in anything anyone comes up with tomorrow and say, oh, I want to do this, I want to change. All along we'll be crying for change. I've been crying for this change for how many years? I've been on television, I've been on radio for over to 20 years now. And this change has come. And so if this change, agent fails us, nobody will ever come with this message of change again, you will believe. And that is the danger, that this government must not afford to fail.
Thank you very much, Monday UBANI. This government must not afford to fail. That is coming from the former MBA chairman, Ikeja branch, Monday UBANI. And this is how we call it short on your darling program called Digest this Friday morning. So we'll come here again with another interesting and bomber package of Call Digest next week. Keep it logged on Call TV News. I remain your host, Emmanuel Ajayi. Bye for now.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.